How does a tax accountant become a libertarian activist? From the time I was a child, I was very skeptical of authority. And when I went to college, I have a vivid memory of reading Milton Friedman's Capitalism and Freedom. I still have the book. It's tattered, $1.50. The book cost $1.50. Of course, this was 1972. And what stuck out in my mind, and I started reading other things about Milton Friedman, is that he talked about heroin addicts prior to prohibition of heroin lived pretty much normal lives. And that had an impact on me. And as the years passed and I did my crazy experimentation with drugs and partied and had a lot of fun, I watched rights being grossly violated of other people. I had people that I loved lose everything. I've been hit over the head by people with drugs. I've been had people pull guns on me, and there's one thing I'm sure of. That is, drug prohibition is the worst thing. About 5 years ago, when everything went crazy in Mexico, there was a bill that was going to decriminalize or legalize a lot of drugs in Mexico. And 5 US presidents came up and said, at the last minute, Vicente Fox was going to sign it. They urged him not to sign it. He vetoed the thing. And what have we seen in Mexico in the last 5 years? I was talking to a friend a friend who's a criminal attorney about the drug war, and he said, there's a guy that wrote an amazing book on it. He's a judge. His name's Jim Gray, and I got a hold of this book, Why Our Drug Laws Have Failed and What We Can Do About It. And it was an amazing book, and a light came on in my head, and I said, is it possible that there's a policy change that we could make that would be fewer prisoners, safer children, more revenue, fewer violations of rights against search and seizure, less discrimination? I mean, the list goes on and on. And I decided this was my calling. I was going to do something. We can change these laws. I know we can change these laws. So I started reading all kinds of books about people who had, under difficult circumstances, really made changes in the world. I started reading about Gandhi, Ben Franklin, Nelson Mandela, and the most interesting thing about these people is they seemed like really kind of normal people at a certain stage of their lives. And it was, a lot of lights went on, and about that time, Prop 19 came out, and I got the ballot in the mail, and in the mail, there was a phone number where you could call on, and I picked up the phone, and I called, and I got Matt Barnes on the line. And I started talking with Matt. I said, I'll do whatever I can. We need someone on the west side. I said, I'll make my offices the headquarters for 19. And that's what we did. I ended up meeting Boomer. We had a couple of film crews go with us during the Prop 19 thing. It was a terrific experience. And right before the election, Eric Holder came out and said he was going to enforce these drug laws no matter what we did in California. And at that point I said, you know what? I need to run for Congress. I spoke with and I spent a lot of time, even though I was motivated primarily by the drug issue, I realized that if I was going to talk to people, I really needed my act together on a lot of issues. So I started writing. And I started writing about my views on gay rights, my view on abortion, my view on the military-industrial complex, which controls all kinds of things that makes our life such a mess. And after the election, we had had a libertarian convention, and where we first endorsed regulate marijuana like wine. And Steve Covey came up to me and said, "You're an accountant? We need a treasurer." So I became treasurer of regulate marijuana like wine. Then I went ahead and I enrolled at UCLA in the Masters in Public Policy program. Incidentally, in the last couple of weeks, I met with Michael Dukakis for about 8 hours, and he's working with me to try to present something to Governor Brown, which is going to be my proposal on how we begin to end drug prohibition, what steps we can take, how we get the media to support it, because the fact is Republicans, Democrats, most of them in private know these drug laws are failed. They just think it's politically impossible to get it to win. So my strategy is to use this connection with Michael Dukakis to get through to people like Governor Brown and put it in front of them, give him an option, how we can stop this, the cost of corrections that's bankrupting the state. The other thing I've done is I've turned my office into LA Liberty headquarters. And we've got Ron Paul signs, Gary Johnson signs. I flew out to Gary Johnson's announcement speech. If you saw Gary's announcement speech, there's a big banner that was in the back. That banner is now in my office. We've got, it's a regulate marijuana like wine headquarters, but I've told all the other marijuana initiatives, come bring your initiatives there. I did copies for one of the other initiatives out of my office, and we're opening our arms. One of the main guys that's over there is a Republican Liberty Caucus guy who's running against me for Congress, and he's over there with all these Ron Paul people doing these phone banks. I go to my office, I got like 20 or 30 Republicans there every day, so it's pretty crazy. But if we're going to change these laws, we need to develop coalitions. We need to develop coalitions with these Republican Liberty people, with progressive Democrats, because there's a lot of people that agree with us about gay rights and about a smaller military, and stop these interventionist policies and this insane war on drugs. And I'm a believer in the coalition. You saw earlier a little video of with the Libertarios, the immigrant march, the May Day march. And people said, "What's a libertarian doing at the May Day parade?" And I said, we're there because we believe in immigrant rights. We believe in immigrant rights, we believe in gay rights, we believe in the Bill of Rights. It's a pleasure to be able to talk about it.